The investigation may range from a simple examination of the surface soil such as digging your heel into the ground. Site investigations. A site investigation in one form or another is always required before the commencement of a building or engineering structure. It is ideal that from the earliest time, definitely during the design stage, this starts taking place. The investigation may range from a simple examination of the surface soil such as digging your heel into the ground to a few shallow trial pits, to a detailed study of the soil and groundwater, including chemical analysis to a considerable depth below the surface by means of boreholes and tests, in situ and/or laboratory of the materials encountered. The extent of the work depends on the importance and foundation arrangement of the structure, the complexity of the soil conditions, and the information which may be available on the behavior of existing foundations on similar soils. Thus, it is not the normal practice to sink boreholes and carry out soil tests for single or two-story dwelling houses or similar structures, since there is usually adequate knowledge of the required foundation depths and bearing pressures in any particular locality. Sufficient information to check the presumed soil conditions can usually be obtained by examining open sewer trenches or shallow excavations for roadwork, or from a few shallow trial pits or hand auger borings. A detailed site investigation involving deep boreholes and laboratory testing of soils is always a necessity for heavy structures such as bridges, multi-story building or industrial plants. Even if rock is known to be present at a shallow depth, it is advisable to excavate down to expose the rock in a few places to ensure that there are no zones of deep weathering or heavily shattered or faulted rock. Thorough investigations are equally necessary for engineering structures founded in deep excavations. As well as providing information for foundation design, they provide essential information on the soil and groundwater conditions to contractors tendering for the work. Thus, money is saved by obtaining realistic and competitive tenders based on adequate foreknowledge of the ground conditions. An engineer undertaking a site investigation may engage local labor for trial pit excavation or hand auger boring, or he may employ a contractor for boring and soil sampling. If laboratory testing is required, the boring contractor can send the sample to an independent testing laboratory. The engineer can send the sample to an independent testing laboratory. The engineer then undertakes the soil mechanics analysis for foundation design, or he may ask the testing laboratory to do this analysis. Alternatively, a specialist organization offering comprehensive facilities for boring sampling, field and laboratory testing, and soil mechanics analysis may undertake the whole investigation. This is much to be preferred to the system whereby one organization does the borings, another testing, and yet another analysis. Whatever procedure the engineer adopts for carrying out his investigation work, it is essential that the individuals or organizations undertaking the work should be conscientious and completely reliable. The engineer has an important responsibility to his employers in selecting a competent organization and in satisfying himself by checking in the field and on laboratory or office work has been undertaken with accuracy and thoroughness. Source: M.J. Tomlinson, Foundation Design and Construction, Pitman, Britain, 1980.